Hey guys, my name is Skye. Welcome to my channel. Today I have an amazing guest, Marcus Watts, and he is healing himself with plant-based foods. Now, so far he has healed fatigue and bloating and skin issues, inflammation, and some unhealthy habits. And he's come on today to talk to us. Welcome, Marcus.
Hey, what's up, Skye? What's up, everyone? Thank you for having me, by the way. I appreciate you reaching out.
You know, uh, as you probably know, I'm very close with Jillian, and she raved about, she's like, he's got the best energy. I'm like, well, come on, we have to talk.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I think I started following you from Jillian too. So,
Oh, great. And I was
yeah,
just saying to Marcus to stay safe because he is in Hollywood in LA. So all those fires going on right now.
yeah, yeah. My heart goes out to all those people that have lost their homes, their livelihood. There's multiple fires happening right now, and putting our thoughts and prayers to all the first responders and just the people on the ground volunteering. There's a lot of amongst the chaos, there's a lot of community and coming together with this. So that's a beautiful thing to see.
That's good. And that's good that you see that. I think in times like this, the more we can see the good and come together, the better these sort of things, the stronger we all become together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so let's get into this. How did this all start? What drove you to the plant-based foods, or how did you find them?
Yeah, so I like saying that the year of 2020 basically opened my eyes to a lot of things. The intention around having health as wealth or preventing things from occurring. And I noticed transitioning into the year 2020, I had a natural inclination to applying better things or new information to just test it out and be curious. So at that point, I had been dabbling a little bit and listening to some of the people on the internet about, organic foods. So it started with organic foods. And
Okay.
I noticed the difference in like my energy, and it just made sense to me. If this is a better quality thing, I might not even have to consume as much in that implementation. So, when the pandemic talks are happening, things I wanted to take my health in my own hands. And so there's a lot of things that happened like in that time of, okay, I went from listening to like mainstream music and Netflix and things like movies and shifting it over into documentaries, podcasts, you know, TED Talks, things that would fill my mind that I can then apply to my life, apply to my family and friends and community around me and add value in that way. And, podcast after podcast led me to Game Changers on Netflix, and that really opened my mind to the plant-based world. And as an athlete growing up myself, playing basketball and just going on hikes, being active, I was like, okay, if they are saying all these benefits that, and also that they wish they would have learned about this earlier, that piqued my interest to really give it a shot. And all the other information that I've been learning, I had a good reference point and an openness at that time to just try it out. Now, I looked at it from a long-term standpoint where I heard about every 7 years, you're basically brand new head to toe all your cells, right? And so that being said, I'm like, okay, then I wonder what 7 years of plant-based living would be like. And at the same time, knowing that not to beat myself up, if I faltered in that transition and go day by day with it, but kind of holding that long-term vision out there, like, okay, let's give it 7 years. Because I see so many people that are like, oh yeah, I tried vegan or I tried plant-based for a couple months and this happened and it didn't work for me. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you need to give it more time. And at that time, I was about 29 years young and thinking about all the foods that I have eaten up until that point. I'm like, all right, I can't erase everything in a couple months, a couple weeks, even a couple years. It has to be more long term to really get a real grasp about this. So I watched Game Changers on a Thursday. By that next Sunday, or that next Monday, I was doing a cleanse, like a 10-day detox cleanse.
Talk about not going fast. You're like, right, I'm straight in.
Right. Let's just do it. During that time, everything was kind of aligned perfectly. I mean, we were indoors, with all the lockdowns and stuff. I had time, and I had a buddy that lived down the street. And I said, "Hey, dude, I'm thinking about doing this cleanse. Are you down?" He had a little, "Okay, I'll do it with you." So he started like a day after me. I started on a Monday, he started on a Tuesday. Fast forward, I get to about day 6, his day 5. He's like, "Hey, man, I don't think I'm doing it anymore. It's too hard." I'm like, "We're right there. We're so close." And ultimately, I was like, it got to me. It got to my head. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, maybe this was too fast," and, jumping right in like that. So that night, I went over to his house for dinner, and we ate like a rice bowl, Buddha bowl kind of
Yep.
thing, but added in shrimp to it. And I ate it, and within like 15, 20 minutes, my stomach was bugging out. I'm like, "Oh man, I've never felt this bad before. I'm not, at that moment, I'm like, okay, I'm staying plant-based. I'm gonna keep doing this lifestyle for a while." And that was really surprising to me because prior to that, I mean, I would eat anything, everything. Like there was no limit, I guess you can say. I was known through my friends and my family, like, "Hey Marcus, you want to finish this? We don't, I have the garbage disposal or whatever, right? Within my family." And for that short of time frame, within 6 days, to notice a difference with something that I always would eat, like shrimp, seafood, and know that, man, this is not agreeing with me. That really opened my eyes. And from that point, I really started diving deeper and learning about the soil health, watching other documentaries like What the Health,
Yep.
Kiss the Ground, Cowspiracy, all these things. Wow, okay. I didn't know what the industry was like, producing these what they call animal products, you know what I mean? And it's interesting too, I say this, like it didn't start for animals for me and like that connection, but as I started cleansing my body, I started really feeling for the animals. And I'm like,
Don't you?
I don't want to do,
When
I
you
don't want
clean your
that.
body, you can feel other people's energies and animals as well. You can feel on some level talk to them. And when you get to that, I mean, of course you're going to be questioning
Yeah,
all of it.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, even noticing how animals know they respond in a different way. Like now it's been 4 years in this lifestyle, and animals love me.
Yeah.
So that part speaks true, and it's totally shifted my whole mindset of like how I see the world, like in this process. So I'm so grateful for just God leading the path, like
I love
kind
it.
of unfolding like intuitively.
Yeah, for sure. So, did you notice? So, when you didn't go into this to heal symptoms, this was like an awakening that just your
Yeah,
heart opened up, which essentially is what I like to describe my journey as happening. But when you want to help people in the world as a health coach, I more promote, I healed this. But when I reflect, the journey is totally spiritual. The whole path, even if you go a little bit back, a little bit around the loop, it's all meant to be. I love the way
yeah.
you've described it.
Yeah.
So
Now, what I'll say, like coming off that point of at that time, it wasn't, I didn't have major things that were like, hypothyroidism or these kind of
yeah.
diagnoses. However, Western medicine told me I had high blood pressure. So that was one thing that was in that time. And when
Wow.
I would go into the doctors, they're like, "Oh, you have high blood pressure. Take these water pills." And I'm like, I actually bought them. I still have them in the cupboard, I think. But like, I was like, no, I don't feel right taking this. I know that it's something that I can control.
I
Just
love
like intuitively, I'm like, I'm not going to take this. And I'm so thankful I didn't take that. What's interesting with with the process is I've noticed things that I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had that until I've expanded myself or detoxified myself.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, brain fog. Like, I didn't know, I've heard about the term brain fog, but at the time, I thought that I was speaking clear, or I was thinking clear and all this. But on the other side of a few months of detoxification and nourishment, it was like a light switch got flipped on. Like, whoa, okay. Smells are more dense. Taste is even more like pinpointed. My smell, my hearing, everything kind of just like amplifies more. And you're like, whoa, I was living under a rock this whole time.
And I don't know whether people actually know the consequence of having intense, like feeling other people's emotions, feeling animals' emotions, hearing better, seeing better. You're in a new reality. I mean, you can say
Mhm.
raise your vibration, and that can sound very general, but people are like, I want to stick where I am. I don't need all those senses working really well. You're in a new reality. When you start feeling and seeing everything so intensely, it's like a whole new world.
Yeah, yeah, really.
It's such a gift.
That's how I describe it to people. I'm like, I'm totally different. And they now especially notice the difference too, you know? They're like, oh man, don't you ever miss out here in California, we have In-N-Out Burger, right? And
Yep.
that's like a huge thing, right? Oh, don't you miss In-N-Out Burger and stuff? Because back in the day I used to eat a lot of it at once. And
Oh,
I'm like, nope. In my mind, like I think about, okay, I'm thankful for the seasons that I had. I'm thankful for the experience that I had.
yeah,
I don't regret it at all because it's a nice contrast to know what the path is for me,
yeah.
you know? And so if I ever have a desire or a craving for it, I go in my mind and I'm like, okay, how did I feel when I was eating it compared to how I am now? Nah, I don't miss it at all.
Well, how are you going to feel after it? That's what I think. If I like have something which is even like sometimes I like cacao, but if I have it 2 days in a row, I'm like, I don't feel I can function. How do people, and I think sometimes do I miss coffee? But it's like, no, like this is living. Like you just feel
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah, yeah, way better. Oh, I want to point this point out too. So coming into it, because I had witnessed and experienced and heard stories of people, oh, I did it a couple months, I did this, didn't work for me. But then I also asked, like, what did you eat and during it? Oh, Beyond Beef and all these like processed, vegan meats and all these things. I'm like, okay, that's the way not to do it for sure. I want to make sure I'm getting organic whole foods
Yeah.
because that's where you get the nourishment. And I grew up on the cereals, the Cheetos, the Cheez-Its, the Oreo, like literally everything.
Yeah.
you know? And I'm a big guy. I'm about 6'3", 6'4", playing basketball and all that. And I remember how hungry I was like growing up. And I can eat a whole box of cereal by myself and still be hungry. So it's interesting when I started to nourish of like how satisfied I was by not eating that much in those huge amounts.
It's
But
crazy.
it's not even food though. So it's like having the realization of okay, what really is food, is a
Yeah.
big like light bulb.
I think a huge thing is when I think of how people like, I get so hungry all the time, I need to eat like lots of food, is that when I think of all the foods I used to eat, a fact is we usually a lot of times crave food because we're thirsty and need salt to hydrate the
Mm,
cells. And then the body has to work so hard just to get the salt, or you get a salt overload, or it needs a sugar boost and you're like bombarded. And then it's like a crash out. With this, you're just so stable all the
yeah.
time and it feels amazing. But I wanted to ask, how far into it did you notice the fatigue and the bloating and the brain fog and the skin all started to clear up?
That's a great question. It wasn't that long. It was like a couple weeks, right? Or even a few days. Like, well, for instance, in that cleanse, I noticed within 6 days, I noticed a difference already from that. When I shifted it, my anniversary, I like having that pinpointed in my mind. September 15th, 2022, or 2020, sorry,
Yeah.
2020. So after the first initial cleanse, okay, I'm gonna be plant-based. I'm gonna live this lifestyle. A couple months later, one of my friends had connected with me because throughout the whole pandemic, I was posting things that I thought was really important for people to see. I mean, it was important for me to see,
Yep.
kind of as a log, like, oh, blueberries are really high in antioxidants and they help with brain function and these kind of things. Oh,
Oh,
breath work and sunlight, and I started learning about grounding. So my content started to shift in my stories and what I wanted to share with people. And one of my friends noticed that. She's like, "Hey, we haven't connected in a while. Let's link up or let's connect." And so I had a great conversation with her, and I was telling her my transition of doing this plant-based living and my new knowledge about the soil quality and the soil health and the use of pesticides that's destroying the soil and the quality of our foods and destroying our gut. And I was listening to Dr. Zach Bush a lot with his content about soil health and regenerative farming. And she had suggested me going on this program through this organic superfood community, this program, this company that really helps nourish, detoxify, regenerate the whole body. And at the time, it was presented to me in a 30-day situation, lifestyle transformation. And I'm like, okay, let me try that. So the whole thing is about adding in these really nutrient dense superfoods, helping detoxify the gut from glyphosate, killing parasites.
cool.
So in that process, I was like, okay, I want to see what this whole program can do for me without working out. I want to see what this high
Okay.
quality food can just do to me, right? And I wish looking back on it that I documented it more and took pictures and like, vlogging or whatever to document like how the process was, but I was just so present in it and
Wow.
it was just really for me, I guess. And after that initial 30 days, like that was when I really started. Saw a lot of things clear up. I had never done a parasite cleanse prior to that time, and I didn't know how they tap into your energy and siphon it off and, can manipulate for certain foods and all that stuff. And it literally was like a whole new world again. First cleanse, few months, another 30-day duration, and it was like boom. So ever since that point, I've been taking these superfoods for 4 years, and
Wow.
over time, it's been a beautiful transition unfolding. And we can fast forward to last year, just basically around this time frame last year, and I had been eating a little bit of more, fast food vegan stuff the end of 2023. And I noticed just like some inflammation and stuff and a little bit more sluggishness. And I said, okay, I definitely need to do a parasite cleanse the first of the year. But at that same time, I was learning about the raw foods. And
Right.
I'm like, maybe I should do this parasite cleanse 100% raw. And so I was like, hey, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. So as I'm doing it, I noticed in some of my bowel movements, I saw a bunch of worms, and I'm like, "Whoa, what the heck? I've never seen this before." And I just kept doing it, kept being more raw on the cleanse. Finished the cleanse. 3 days later, a huge movement of worms came out, and I'm like, "What the heck? This is crazy."
Yeah.
That same day, I had gone to the local farmers market, and some of the vendors, I go often, right, every Sunday, and some of the vendors, they said to me, they're like, "Man, you're glowing. Like, I can feel your energy, and like, what's going on?" And I said, "This is what's going on." And I showed them some pictures and videos that just came out, and I'm like, "This is what's."
Wow.
So that interaction with people that had no clue what I was doing prior and saying that to me speaks volumes in my mind. So all of last year, I mean, into right now, I've been primarily like I call it high raw, like 80 to 90% raw most of the time. And it's been a high emphasis on fruits. And currently, right now, I'm on day 12 of a 40-day juice and superfood herb fast. So
Wow.
I'm like, the momentum goes, and I'm just like, hey, let's try it out. I'm so like,
I love this.
Yeah, I love using my body. Like I love experimenting and, oh, another thing, December 1st of last year, I had been prior to December 1st, I had been playing around with 24 to 36 hour water fasts once
Yep.
every week to give my digestion some rest.
Yep.
And ultimately I'm like, ooh, it would be cool to experience like a 7 day water fast. So December 1st through December 7th, I did a 7 day water fast.
Wow. And what was that like?
It was good. It was really good. I was surprised. I didn't know what to expect fully.
Sure.
I was surprised that I didn't have that much of a hard time during it. I think the prep of those 24-hour, 36-hour fast leading up to it, along with, high raw, not really eating a lot of cooked vegan or anything like that, really helped my body in that process. This is interesting too. So coming into it, I weighed in on day one about 183 or so pounds. By the end of day seven, I was 165 pounds. And then, but it was like, I didn't lose muscle or anything like that. It was just like losing more waist, I guess. The
Also,
next,
we hold a lot of fluid to buffer
yes.
acids and inflammation. So like, even if somebody exercises like myself like a lot each day, is you're holding an extra 2 kilo, 1.5 to 2 kilos of water just to buffer all of the acids from that. Add salt to that, there's another couple kilos.
Oh, yeah.
Like the body uses fluid, so I can imagine there was a lot of fluid, probably waste as well, but
Yeah,
a lot of
definitely.
fluids. So
Yeah. And then, so what was interesting too, so the next day, I broke the fast with fruit. And by the end of that day, on the refeed day, I had gone back up to 177. So I put 12 pounds on in a day.
wow, that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
The body is so intelligent. I always say, like, we try and work out what the body needs, and we're using one organ, and the body
Mhm.
is so intelligent and so complex. Like, if it needs fluids, it'll get like obviously a lot from your first couple meals. That,
Yeah, right. And especially knowing that going into a fast and breaking the fast is some of the most important parts of it. And I knew like I wasn't gonna go into eating rice or anything complex right away. I wanted to give my body some,
give it.
ease with that. So yeah, like I'm very experimentational with myself, and but also, when I look back at everything, it's usually in a gradual sense in a way before I build the courage for myself to jump and try it out. And this current fast that I'm on, or feast fast, is one of those as well. I had some friends that were like, "Hey, do you want to do a 40-day with us?" And it took me a couple days, and I'm like, you know what? First of the year, let's go. Why not?
Yeah, I did a juice fast into the start of last year and it was amazing. It was so renewing, like because you start with the new year, you start fresh, you get like really motivated for the year. So enjoy it.
Yeah,
Enjoy it.
yeah,
What a journey. So first off, I want to ask you what I know people will want to know what is the brand that you used for the superfoods when you started all the like the superfoods?
yeah.
What brand?
So it's a brand here in the US and Canada
Yep.
called Purium.
Yep.
Stands for Pure and Premium, and it's my foundation in
Okay.
life in my life. I,
Sure.
I know what I'm getting. I know when I go travel places and I bring it with me, I'm set. No matter what comes my way, I know that I'm going to be nourished at my baseline. So,
If
if
that
anyone has questions with that, they can reach out to me.
Yeah,
And
I'll put all your details below and you can reach out and talk to Marcus about that. Now, is that raw? I've heard that
yes,
it's raw. Yeah, I've heard that
yeah,
it's raw. A lot of people have
it's
to.
all raw, living superfoods. They they they've been around for 30 years actually, and they came up with this dehydration method to dehydrate all the grasses, the herbs, the fruits, the veggies at room temperature. And so that keeps all the enzymes intact, as I'm sure you know, Skye.
Yeah.
Everything above 118, the enzymes are deactivated and basically destroyed. So they dehydrate at a very low temperature, and it basically keeps it at like an enzymatic alive state until you add water back in, and it's literally like it's been pulled off the vine like at its full peak ripeness. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah,
Powerful foods.
it sounds like an incredible journey as well. And I think one of the most important things I always say, and you're saying it right now with your journey, is you don't have to, you might think you can fix a problem by all of a sudden eating watermelon for 30 days and then that's it. You can go back to your old lifestyle, you'll have fixed everything. There is such value in finding you step by step, a few steps back, moving
Yeah.
forward. It's like the journey is like so precious, and start wherever you're at. Like, guys, if it's plant-based, if it's trying to do, if you're eating a lot of meat, start with vegetarian. Like, start wherever you're at, because I swear once you start, you get guided. Like, the universe will guide you.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And
So
I mean, what I'll say too is I feel like in this, the guidance becomes stronger and stronger because the channel's clearer and clear, the vessel's cleaner and cleaner, you know, especially if you're like a naturally curious person, you know, of like, hey, let's just see what's the worst that can happen. I can always go back. That's also what I had in my mind when I first started. I can always go back to the 12 eggs a day, to the, you know, all these complex things that don't align with me anymore. You
yeah.
know?
But then as you move forward, it's I don't know. I just feel like density, like anytime I go back, there is periods of time, not back, I haven't been back to eggs, but anytime I eat denser, there's always a period for that. And then I'll eat
Yes.
and
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
get to know yourself. And I think that's what we're here for on this planet. Like, we think we've got to know everybody else and know what everyone else is doing on social media, but hey, we got to look at ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
You
Now
do.
grab inspiration, you
Yes.
know, like
100.
the inspiration helps like frame it in your mind. Like if I didn't see Game Changers at that time, like I don't know, who knows where I'd be right now. But that spoke to me as an athlete and seeing these Olympians and these, you know, pro sport players thriving, like way better performance than they did prior. I was like, okay, like I'm down to try it, you know?
It's so interesting because when they interviewed a lot of the Olympians and said, like, what do you eat all day? And everyone's expecting them to say protein, protein, protein. And they're all like, fruit, carbs.
Yeah.
Like, we fill on carbs and then like a small amount at night. And
Yeah.
yeah, you can get so much for your body when you put the right nutrition in.
Yeah.
So I also loved what you said about this 7 years, because like everything gets replaced except the cells in the brain after 7 years. And I feel like I wasn't vegan, but my awakening started 7 years ago, back in
Mm,
around like last year. And I noticed like the closing of the cycle. And it's really fascinating, guys. If I can recommend something, is just keep it like track of your 7 year cycles. Like, if
yeah.
something really flares up, or you just, I don't know, when you're on this journey, is that there is definitely something to that, is these 7 year cycles. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what I wanted to also ask is, what do you usually eat in a day? I know you're juicing at the moment. Well, you can tell us what you're juicing. What are you juicing at the moment?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I love it. So I've been variation. So orange pineapple, so good.
Yeah.
Orange pineapple carrot, so good. Uh, I've done cucumber, celery, green apple, or any apple, ginger, lemon, so good. Like
My
everything,
favorite.
everything's just so good. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take out the so goods every time because that's how I feel with it when I'm drinking. I'm like, oh, this is so good. um, ooh,
Stop
I've
going
done.
on it. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, you know, that's what it is. We got a vibe. This is life. Purple cabbage, apple, carrot, a little bit of orange in there. That was actually really good.
Good. That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah. I
Yum.
actually have one in my fridge right now. That'll probably be my dinner tonight.
Oh, nice. It sounds
But
amazing.
yeah, but besides that,
Yes.
with when I'm not doing a juice fast, I've been really getting into the juicing this last year. So I'll do some type of juice, green juice, my Purium superfoods. I'll do that usually to start the day. I do like herbal teas. I do some tinctures and stuff. I'm like one of the things that I'm working on reversing is my eyesight. So I'm doing some eye herbs and some eye teas. And, I really think that this specific juice fast, I think it's going to give a lot of support to that lymphatic system in my eyes and, playing with the eye exercises of like focusing. Um,
Can I
but
ask
yeah.
what tincture you use? Because I know I'm thinking about my viewers and they will want to know what tincture
Oh
you.
yeah. I'm using the Dr. Morris eye tincture.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I take his heal all tea as
That's the
well.
best. If anything, I remember I hadn't tried Dr. Morse yet, and somebody said to me, what was something had flared up, a tooth or something. And they're like, well, I don't know, every time something flares up for me, I just use Dr. Morse's tea and it goes. Use that tea.
Yeah, yeah. That one's good. And then let's see. I do smoothies a lot.
Yep,
Um, I'll eat, it's interesting this lifestyle because I've become more simple. I
sure.
can just eat a couple banana, I can eat some apple, I can just eat the fruit because it's faster. I don't have to really worry about dishes as much. But when I do something more extravagant, maybe it's like uh, an abundant looking salad. I'll put some kimchi in there. I'll put some tomatoes, spiralize the cucumber so it's like noodles and stuff for some different textures.
What do you put in your smoothie? You said you have a
Yeah, yeah. I'll do dates, banana, blueberries, strawberries. I'll put some green superfoods in there, hemp seeds. Sometimes I'll put chia. Sometimes I'll put ashwagandha. I
yep.
kind of go here and there with that in cycles. Every once in a while, I'll put some cacao in there too to add. If I want more of a chocolatey, I'm like, okay, I want some cacao.
Yep. Been there.
That's usually a go-to, but then sometimes I do more tropical one where there's some more mango and pineapple with the berries, and sometimes I add a little bit of like almond milk or something like that just to make it thicker. I'll add chlorella, spirulina,
Sure.
barley. I kind of just go with it. I'm like, what mood am I in? Okay, let's just do this.
I like.
And then it always turns out so good. And I make a huge thing of it because one, I just really enjoy them. And I'm working on this myself is slowing down because I could just pound pound back a 32 ounce real fast within like 2 minutes. And I know that's really fast. So this is not any advice. I don't endorse it. That's just something I'm working on myself.
Sure. I like when you're describing your diet because I have this theory that we go through phases of like the juicing and maybe like lighter fruits, but it's really good to know all the foods available that are raw because they're
Yeah.
nutritious and you may have a calling at some time. Like you're saying ashwagandha, chlorella, you're having some almond milk. And I just think if people can arm themselves with knowing, of course, if you're very sick, cleansing is great, but when you
Yeah.
break and need to rebuild a bit, is don't be scared of any of the foods that are
Yeah.
whole foods because your body can really benefit from the support. So
Hmm.
all the foods, they sound amazing. Sound like you're throwing
Yeah.
a party.
Oh, I mean, it's funny because my friends joke with me. They're like, one of my friends is like, "Are you just on all fruit today? Are you doing just salads today? Like, what are you doing today?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a bit of it all right now. I'm not into any specific cleanse or nothing. Last year, I was doing a lot of fruit fasting. that
Sure.
was another barrier. It's like it's a fun like mind opening experience I've noticed too. You know, like even like the fruit thing, like fruit fasting of just eating fruit for 5 days. We had a big group that would do this every other week.
Sure.
And I remember the first time I was like, oh man, I want to make sure I eat enough. Like, I don't know what this is going to be like. So I stocked up on a bunch of oranges and I did blueberries too, which was really cool. And after I did the 5 days, I'm like, wow, the body's it's so intelligent and it's so adaptable. And the body also loves simplicity, you know?
Does,
Like it
yeah.
doesn't have to be
Oh,
so complicated. And having like survived on just, oranges all day and blueberries all day, it's like it expands your experience, I think, in life. Oh, okay, I can do that. I can drop into that. You mentioned the watermelon. In the summer, I did a what started as a 5 day watermelon fast.
yeah.
But as I got to day five, I'm like, whoa, I feel so good. I'm just gonna push it out a couple days. Let me see what seven's like. And then I pushed it out 3 more days. So I did 10 days on just watermelon, juice and actually eating.
Wow.
And yeah, it was awesome. I miss the summer because the watermelon season's out right now.
Yeah, I always notice you guys as watermelon season closes off as mine kicks in, and by the time mine kicks in, I'm desperate because I've watched everyone on social media eat watermelon for a whole 6 months. I'm
Yeah.
like, I need it. But you know what I noticed is when I did grapes for like 30 days, I think it was,
Mm,
or 21 days, I think I did grapes, is when you re-eat foods again. Like, so I was eating just like obviously at the start, very simple other fruits and then avocado and maybe a little bit of greens. And then I made a dressing which might have had like 6 or 7 ingredients in it, just all like, bell peppers and garlic and ginger and lemon. And I had like about 4 or 5 things in the salad. The thing I was so surprised by is how much my brain was just trying to comprehend what was going on. Like when you
mm,
one food, it frees up, besides the fact that you're very hydrated and your brain's running faster, but it frees up so much energy for other things, right? Because we don't think about this, but when we eat a meal, the more complex it is, the more brain power is going on. You know,
yeah.
I was like, it's like a self-discovery, like the things you discover about yourself and habits and learn things from fruit and from raw foods and from plant.
Oh my gosh, it is. I mean, okay, I'll say this too. It just popped in my mind because I'm looking at you and you're so radiant and glowing and like that's what people come up to me and say, "Oh man, you're glowing," you know? Like I was at in this fruit fast I'm learning too, or this juice fast that I need a lot of surplus. So there's this downtown LA fruit produce like wholesale place that they sell to like the restaurants and the other grocery stores that you can get way discounted. So I went there the other day and the guy was helping me wheel out some grapefruit and some oranges to my car. And we're talking and he's like, man, your energy is like, I could feel it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I mean, you're just your posture and like your good attitude. And it's like, man, like I can feel it. I'm like, wow, thank you for that. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a 40-day juice fast. He's like, whoa, what discipline it takes. And on one end, yes, for sure. For this long duration, yeah. But I will say it feels like into like a few days, it doesn't feel like discipline anymore. It's just like it is.
Is. I
It
agree.
is.
I agree with that, but I also think the discipline came from what you've done for the last 4 years. Like
Yes.
it's only easy because you've already done all that hard work. So I think it'd be definitely different if someone just woke up, they're like, I'm going to juice. There'd really be much more of a battle going on. But I do know what you're saying is when juicing, it becomes your norm. Like you don't even think, what am I going to chop up or put in a bowl? You just think, what am I going to put through the juicer? So I
Right.
just think there's such, I feel with where I've been with the raw foods is like, so I've done a lot of years of like the higher fruits. And I feel like last year, although I did like 80 days of juice, I then juiced like 5 liters most days. That was my meal and then a light meal at night. I feel at the moment very shut off. Like the body shuts me off from, it wants me to rebuild. You can't always be doing the same thing. And it's funny how when I think of it, it goes, no, not now. not now.
Yeah.
And I'm having more things like chia puddings, and I didn't have nuts or seeds for years, but now I'm having more things like that. And it's just like I totally trust in the process. But I love what it's so fascinating. I love and appreciate watching everyone else do what they're doing too. I
Yeah.
someone earlier who's just started, a lot of people this time of the year do juicing. And I was saying, when I think back, although it healed shingles for me, or like I had this post-viral fatigue, I couldn't get up until I juiced. My memory stands so true. What I remember about it is the spiritual experience. So
Mm,
everyone else might have been living their life around me and connecting with me, but I was somewhere else. Like
mm.
it's like I am floating around. I'm listening to meditation. I'm manifesting. I'm looking at the sun and just like, oh my, that's my memory. My memory isn't like, yes, I finally healed shingles. It is like this whole like magical place that I went to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
You enjoy your magical place.
Yeah, and I don't know, you feel more connected, I think, when you're cleansing like that. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I want to say this story real quick too. So
Oh,
on day two of the juice fast, I went to a friend's solar return celebration at downtown Disney bowling alley. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to prep myself. I'm going to bring my juice with me. So I made the celery, kale, green apple, ginger, lemon juice. And I had it in a mason jar in my backpack. And going into downtown Disney, they go through security and like make sure that there's no riffraff and stuff. So I had it in my backpack and the guy's looking through and he's like, unfortunately, you can't bring glass in here. And I'm like, oh, and it was a really good mason jar too. And I'm like, oh, dang it. But they're like, but you can drink it now if you want to, or you can pour it. I had a stainless steel shaker with me, or
yep.
you can pour it in there. So I poured it in there, and like the smell of it came out. And even the security guard's like, oh my gosh, that smells so good. I want that too. But I drank it. And then my buddy on the other side's like, hey, can I get a sip of that? And so I gave it to him. We drank it. We get on the other side and we're walking through Disneyland. And I'm like, well, it's already been exposed now more to air. I want to drink it while it's more fresh.
Yep.
And drinking it, and I don't know if it's just the energy that was around at Disneyland, but I felt high.
Yeah.
Literally, I was like, whoa, like I've never really felt like this before.
I felt like
Just
that.
from
Not at
juice.
Disneyland though. That would be an experience. Actually, that's
Yeah.
something to put down to do is juice at Disneyland. Wow. I like if I've had like some grape juice or watermelon juice and I've drunk it fast, I'll be like off more in the magical land. You're literally in the physical magical land. I love
On
that.
the happiest place on earth, I was in the happiest place in my body.
Juice, right? That's where you want.
Yeah,
If you're going to be high, you may as well be high at Disneyland. I love
yeah.
that story. I'm going to use that story. I'm going to share that because I also wanted to ask you what motivates you? What is like the main motivator? Because I know a lot of people, I think, struggle to get on because they haven't found their purpose yet. So, what's your motivator?
Mm. I think some of the biggest motivation for me is noticing the contrast within myself of like, man, I didn't know I didn't know I can feel this good. And it continues to be better the longer I stay in this lifestyle, you know? No, just from that alone, when I look out into society and, my surroundings and seeing people, suffering in silence, but also outwardly too, and just like how people carry themselves around and it's so low and it's sad and but knowing that it can shift, like that honestly motivates me to keep going too. Cause I'm like, oh man, it's like, okay, I know how I don't want to feel. There's examples of that, but then the same example is like, but you don't, but there's a better way, like, or there's a better feeling that someone can feel too, you know? And then seeing like family members pass from stuff that I think lifestyle is like 90%. That also inspires me to keep doing it. for myself, but hopefully that inspiration that I was inspired by these other people doing it, I I hope that what I'm doing can inspire someone too, just because life, it just seems like it just keeps amplifying better and better, like experiencing it all, you know.
100%. I also think for everyone listening is go follow Marcus on Instagram. It's Marcus Watts. I don't know the full. What is your Instagram handle?
Yeah, Marcus, Marcus,
I did see that. So if you go follow Marcus, but also follow anyone that we're following that's raw, because what I have found is as much as people think, oh, it's a lonely journey, I feel more connected than ever. And a lot of it is people online. And that is like a blessing because it's not just people in your area you can match with and get on with, it's like people around the world. So,
Yeah.
and you get so much inspiration. You may think this isn't working for me, and then see somebody is made a smoothie a certain way and you're like, oh, I can have that. Like
Yeah.
you really can
Yeah.
like
I
inspire.
mean, I'm looking at your content. I mean, I was looking at your story today, and I can't wait to eat solid food again so that I can make like that. You made like a, what was it, like a pie or something, like a raw pie or
I just posted I made a chocolate log. Was that it?
yeah, I think so. Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
Yeah, it's got like I try and do my recipe because what I noticed is people might want to like build their microbiome and eat complicated, but most people want really simple recipes. So I
Yeah.
try to do only like three, four ingredients. So that is actually based on my chocolate truffle. So I make little chocolate balls. I'm going to kill you here with all of this, right? Because you'll be like, I want it. So it's like sesame seeds, cashew. Oh no, yeah, sesame seeds, macadamias, raw oats, uh,
Mm,
cacao or carob, and some peanut butter or some nut butter, no, tahini or peanut butter. And you just
mhm.
blend that up, and then I put that down, like, and then on top of it is literally just cashews, water, and sea moss, and some dates.
Oh yeah,
Makes the cream. So
so good.
yeah, so that reel will come out soon, guys. Everyone watching is probably.
Oh,
But also, I would love to ask you, is there something you, before we go, that you'd love to share with everyone that we haven't talked about?
yeah, I'd say, you had mentioned it earlier, Skye, like you don't have to start full raw or, go so hard so fast because there is a real thing about transitioning.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if we've been eating a certain way that's not necessarily in alignment with our body and our biology, like our body's so intelligent, it holds all the toxins and the fat and interstitially and also like the body is used to that. So if there's too much of a shock, you might not be ready, the body might not be ready, and that may deter you from even walking the path because
Yeah.
detox symptoms happen right away, and you might not have your detox pathways open for it.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of transitioning. Hey, it might be fruit till noon, and then eat whatever you do eat and continue doing that, but focus on gut health is the one of the biggest parts of this is making sure your gut lining is integrity because that's the first defense of anything coming out, really. I mean, your mouth is, but your gut is where neurotransmitters, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, all that is pretty much produced in the gut first. And
Right.
we see all this, rise in depression and stuff. Well, that tells me right there that the gut, there's something happening in the gut level. So, let's repair the gut and take your time, enjoy the process. Like I said, I'm high raw, so I'll still eat some cooked here and there because I'm still in a transition, as much as I'm jumping into some of these deeper level things.
I
But
think, as I said, like I'm a little bit, well, I'm in a different path right now, still raw, but different is our body will should be telling us. And I think if we listen, we will do better than if we choose to keep pushing through.
right. And the contrast really it tells you a lot. Last year, after a few fruit fasts and I was eating basically 100% raw, there was a period of time where I was traveling and I couldn't really find when I was out at places, like I wanted to eat at some restaurants. So I did it and, it was as clean as I could find and whatnot. But it was just interesting noticing, okay, I've been doing some real deeper work that maybe the cooked isn't in that excess isn't in alignment where I'm at now because I felt cloggy in my throat. I had some sinus stuff coming out and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty interesting, you know? So it's a dance, it's an art, it's a flow, you
Yeah.
know, just go with it, you know, just take your time, follow Skye, follow me, follow anybody that inspires you and live in this lifestyle and make it your own thing. You know, that's really important.
I love that. And I was going to ask, would you come back after your juice
Oh
fast
yeah,
and share
I'm down.
thoughts and everything? Because it's been such a pleasure. I've loved talking.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I love talking to you too, Skye. Thank you again for bringing me on and
You're
keep
welcome.
going out there in Aussie land.
I will. And I hope everything gets better with the fires.
Thank you so much.
So,
Yeah, all
and
the prayers, send them.
that's right. So, everyone watching, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe below and I'll see you all soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.